What's poppin', y'all? I'm here to talk about the GOAT, Klawf. I love this guy, man. He's super cool. Before I get into talking about him, though, or any of the changes you see on the screen, I highly recommend that if you're new here, first of all, welcome to my channel. I appreciate you watching. Also, this music might be a tiny bit too loud. Hopefully not. We'll see. All right. Yeah, if you're new here, shout out to you. Appreciate you coming to my channel. Pause the video if you are new here. And okay, this is definitely too quiet, bro. Pause the video and give the description a look. I have a lot of detailed information about the hack linked down below in the description. Um, Not only do I have like text form, but I also have it in video form, so you can consume either whichever one is more convenient for you, or do both if you want to read and also listen to the video. It's totally up to you. But don't click off the video to look at the Google Sheet just yet, because that'll mess up watch time. Also, if you're a returning viewer, I appreciate you very much. Shout out to you. With that being said, though, Klawf, Rock Bug, he should have 100% been a rock bug type. The only other rock bug type in Scarlet and Violet is Cleaver, so he, having two of them never hurt. It's a pretty cool type combo. It's one of my, I love bug, it's my favorite type, and then bug ground is one of my favorite type combos. Rock bug is also pretty cool though. I like rock bug. And yeah, he totally should have just been bug and vanilla in my opinion. Obviously not everything needs to be dual type. I know there's going to be some people who come up in here talking about, oh, da, da, da. I know that, but I think in this case it is genuinely very helpful both offensively and to an extent defensively, removing some of the weaknesses so you can get some regenerator pivots a bit easier. It also removes some of the resistances, like he doesn't resist fire anymore or flying, but it's kind of a trade-off. I would say mostly it's an offensive benefit though, again giving them that extra stab, which really benefits stuff like Anger Shell and Tough Claws. Speaking of Anger Shell, it's super sick with moves like Molt, which will heal you. It's essentially bug type recover. Pairs, flavor wise, it's very fitting, obviously. Super strong. I mean, he's really bulky overall. 80, 125, 80 is very solid. He's pretty damn quick. He's quick enough to run like Scarf Tough Claws for certain boss fights if you want to, and outspeed, pretty much everything in the game with a Scarf. Yeah, I mean, I really like this guy, man. He's strong as hell. 115 attack with Tough Claws or a +1 attack boost from Anger Shell is incredibly powerful. And then, of course, Regenerator with the fact that you have that infinite ability changer to change your abilities between all three of your slots at will means that you can run a more offensive set. With because the benefit of Tough Claws over to Anger Shell, for example, is that you have to lose HP for Anger Shell to trigger, and it drops your defenses. However, Tough Claws just is a raw damage boost to contact moves, and is also incredibly powerful. While Anger Shell, again, you need to cook a bit more with it, but it's very easy to trigger in game, very consistent. 80 base speed at +1 from Anger Shell outspeeds pretty much everything, and then you get +1 attack, and you can go absolutely crazy. You could even do some funny stuff like Loaded Dice, Rock Blast, and or Pummel with Anger Shell because you're very fast. You could also do Flail and Anger Shell with a Sash, or Endure, Lychee or Salakberry plus Flail with Anger Shell is incredible. You get +2 attack, +1 speed, or +1 attack, +2 speed. And lowering your defenses, the only really downside of lowering your defenses with Anger Shell is that, oh, I didn't give him Shell Smash, dude. Good thing I noticed that. I don't know how I blanked on that. Yeah, you can definitely have Shell Smash for the League and all the other endgame boss fights. I'm pretty sure I put that in I think I just forgot to write it down, I'm not gonna lie, because I definitely put that in the game files when I was doing their moves, so, yeah. Hold on, I gotta fix the format now. I got kind of messed up. But yeah, I mean, this guy's sick. Like I said, very strong, very versatile, both defensively and offensively. You can either run on speedy or bulky. Bulky, Tough Claws, First Impression, Creeping Strike. Creeping Strike functions like Quick Attack. It's Shadow Sneak, basically. It's Bug Shadow Sneak. I don't see Accelerock on him very much, so I didn't give him that. Even though he could in theory, but I don't know. I feel like he doesn't need the reach when he has Creeping Strike already for stab priority and First Impression. So he's totally good there. Also with Anger Shell, you can also use stuff like Battle Cry with either Regenerator or Anger Shell to debuff the opponent's attack and special attack by -2, so you can get your Anger Shell boost easier. However, do keep in mind that you can be crit through any attack drops, so definitely be careful of that. Lunge also drops attack and special attack by -1, so you can use that with Anger Shell to rack up boosts and kind of counteract the defense drops from Anger Shell. But the main benefit of Anger Shell, I would say, is just switching in on something or enduring on something. With Move Relearner, Endure is incredible. Switch them in or Endure, get that boost, and then maybe get a couple kills until you're eventually, hopefully, forced out by a Quick Claw on the opponent's team or something that is still faster, although 80 base speed at +1 with perfect IVs, even without a plus speed nature, is incredibly fast in game. Again, you don't have to deal with crazy competitive speed tiers like Booster Energy or, fucking Scarf Dragapult. It's not a thing because the AI can't abuse Scarf very well at all, if at all, really. So Speed tiers are much lower, so yeah, 80 base speed at +1, very, very fast. I give him a slight boost to speed just because I like all the stats all being 80s. Really, that's the only reason. And because I saw 80, so why not, you know? I could have done 75, 75, 75, but I don't know. I like Klawf, you know, and I definitely see 80 HP and 80 speed F on him, so figured boost the speed a bit to match. Just makes the numbers nicer to look at. Could have also done 120 defenses, but an attack. But I like his attack being a little bit lower than his defense, just flavor-wise. Not to mention he does have Anger Shell and Tough Claws to boost his attack, so the defense being higher is definitely much more useful. He's got tons of great coverage. I mean, Rock Bug's already pretty good dual stab, but obviously he's got tons of coverage in fighting and ground and in freaking water even. Obviously you have Terra, you've got Ghost, you got Steel. I mean, you got everything. You know, Temper Flare is, you know, even as like Fire type Wicked Blow, can't be used twice in a row, so that's pretty strong late game as well. For cover, and that's actually not that late game Temper Flare, but you get the point. You've got very powerful stab moves. You've got Jagged Edge and X Scissor, which are 80 base power, 50% crit moves. So if you hold a Scope Lens with Anger Shell, you can switch in, get the +1 speed and attack if you lose, you know, your HP to get in range for it, and then you can click, you know, those two moves. You also have Laceration and Shadow Claw, so those are 4 50% crit moves, as well as Slash. That's 5. If you run Scope Lens with those, you can get a 120 base power move pretty early on in the game with the Scope Lens consistently. So that's pretty cool. Rock Polish even is pretty good with Anger Shell. If you run like a bulkier set to take the hit guaranteed, you know, you can like even EV deliver crit or something and take the hit that way. I mean, there's so many creative ways you can get Anger Shell. I mean, it's honestly really not a hard ability to use in game. And again, the problem Klawf has in competitive is because, you know, 75 at +1 is not that quick in a competitive setting, but in game it's incredibly fast. He now has the dual stab, he has the move pool, he has the attacking stats. So yeah, very, very, very good Pokemon. Fun to use. I love this guy, really. He's really cool. I love crabs. I love crustaceans. They're my favorite animals. Lobsters, all those guys. Love them to death. Yeah, Regenerator, obviously. I mean, he has those abilities in vanilla, right? The only thing I switched out is Shell Armor, which honestly, Shell Armor is also great, but I think I prefer the immediate damage boost from Tough Claws because he already has a utility ability in Regenerator. And Anger Shell is a boosting ability, but there's conditions for it, I guess. Meanwhile, Tough Claws is like a flat, just to switch him in and kill something if you need to. Obviously easier said than done, but you get my point. Definitely has a lot of use cases over Anger Shell. Speaking of Tough Claws, Rock Wrecker is not boosted, but it's a 140 base power, essentially physical rock type Draco Meteor now. So that's very, very good, especially with Regenerator or Anger Shell. Mostly Regenerator is the main thing you'd use Rock Wrecker in synergy with, which is why he gets it pretty early at 50. Because I want to encourage those defensive sets every once in a while with Regenerator. Even Anger Shell Rock Wrecker is great though. I mean, switch him in, 140 base power, +1 attack, you know, boom, you kill something for sure. But that's a little bit overkill at times. It depends on the boss fight and the point of the game you're at, and your other team members if they can also do the job. You know, that's the beauty of the game. Again, read the description if you're new here and you listen this far into the video. And if you are this far into the video and this is your first video of mine, do genuinely read the description. It will be very useful for you to understand the hack if you didn't do that yet. Yeah, Strength, that is a rock type double edge, so that's Tough Claws boosted, very, very strong for later on in the game. Crab Hammer, I didn't cover this yet somehow. How did I not mention this? So Razor Shell is 60 base power, just a consistent, it's guaranteed crit, right? So it's like kind of similar to other moves. It's also an exclusive move, but I didn't list it in the exclusive move little section here because it's not that noteworthy. It's mostly just that cool little coverage move that he can do. But it is exclusive. As you can see, there's a couple of other moves here that are exclusive, like 60 base power guaranteed crit moves that have like additional effects in some cases, although Razor Shell doesn't because it's just strong and is balanced around like some sharpness Pokemon and stuff. Maybe I'll eventually change it. At one point I had it making it boost defense. I could also make it always lower defense, but Liquidation does that already, so it's kind of lame. Could make it boost your own defense. That's what I had initially. Like the idea is you harden your shell, don't use Slash, but maybe I'll change it one day, but for now, I'll keep it at that because it's still very strong. 90 base power, no drawback, right? And it's balanced around stuff like Samurott having sharpness. So, yeah, regardless, it's a good coverage early on, level 25 very early. And then Crab Hammer is sick on this guy because, again, it's a guaranteed flinch. Kind of like a cheese move in that regard. It's 90 base power, but it is just a reliable little tool that you can slap on for some endgame boss fights once in a while to either get free chip damage or kill something or whatever it is. I mean, it's a good move. There is a bunch of these types of moves, these flinch signature moves. There's a whole list of them right here. But but they're all limited, very limited distribution. I'm very particular with the Pokemon I give them to in terms of flavor because it makes the tools feel more unique. And then also the levels at which these Pokemon learn these moves is varied depending on how much they need it or what point, whatever, all these other factors. So 55 is relatively late, but it's also relatively early depending on how you look at it. If you check out the level cap guide, you can see at what point in the game you'll be level 55. And it looks like not that much, but there's also like 10 extra boss fights for the end game. Because this is all main game, right? Then you got the end game stuff after you beat all the gyms and Titan fights and stuff. So, yeah, that's about it, really. Super strong guy. Shell Smash at 100 is obviously very good with Anger Shell. I mean, Sash, Shell Smash, Anger Shell versus something, if you pivot in with like a slow pivot to not lose any HP and not lose your Sash, boom. Or you could just EV to live the hit, guaranteed. Click that Shell Smash, Anger Shell, guaranteed. Now you're +3, at that point you can definitely get some kills. And if you already eliminated the Quick Claw on the opponent's team, you can do that. Or if Creeping Strike at +3 is strong enough to kill, which it might be, to kill the Quick Claw Pokemon, then you go before the Quick Claw because priority outprioritizes Quick Claw. Alphas, if you're watching my videos and you're wondering what the hell Quick Claw is when I would keep talking about it, it's in the Hell That I'm Buff section. Single use item, consumable. So that's why I keep mentioning that, because it's a very big countermeasure on the AI in regards to setup. If it's got a Quick Claw mon in the back or a priority move in the back. So, which again most Pokemon get access to priority now as an option. Yeah, even like U-turn regenerator is great. You can run like a bulky pivot set with Battle Cry U-turn, whatever, or offensive. Just switch them in, get a kill with U-turn with Tough Claws or Anger Shell, and then go into somebody else and get another kill with somebody else. So it's super fun, very versatile guy. Obviously Terra is very good. Read more in the description about Terra and how that works in this hack or how it's intended to work. Even stuff like Giga Impact late game with Tough Claws is incredibly strong. Even though it's neutral on most everything, it's still pretty much everything. It's still good. Yeah, thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Love Klawf, hope you do as well. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. If you listen this far into the video and you're a new viewer, shout out to you. Leave a comment if you are new and you made it to the end. And if you're returning and you made it to the end, leave a comment as well. Let me know if you made it to the end. I feel like nobody ever fucking if you're actually listening to these words I'm saying, comment that you made it, because I say this in every video and I swear to God nobody ever comments that they made it to the end. So I actually am curious how many people watch to the end or if people just click off at some point. So shout out to you if you did. Appreciate it.